Welcome to Identity Unboxed, where we provide mentorship and promote representation for Black professionals in the advancement of the Black community.
We are seeking guidance from exceptional Black leaders, scholars, and professionals with expertise in their respective fields.
We hope to foster a space that promotes authenticity, inclusivity, and restoration for our listeners while exploring the intersection of our personal and professional lives.
This project is a culmination of our lived experiences as young Black professionals to transform our life trajectories to overcome adversity and reach triumph.
Our intention is to inspire you on your path to discovering your purpose. Thank you so much for tuning into Identity Unboxed, a space curated to amplify Black voices, foster authenticity, and provide mentorship and representation for those within our community. In this intergenerational space, we collectively work to promote the advancement of the Black community through platforming those that are making a difference in their workplaces and beyond. Throughout Season 2, we have been able to uncover the beauty, depth, and complexity within our identities, exploring our relation to Blackness and paying homage to those that paved the way for us. This project has shown us the strength in community and how each of our stories hold a unique quality with the potential to impact all those we share them with. While our Blackness unites all of us within the community, our connection to it evolves relative to the various spaces we occupy in our lives. While the relationship is dynamic, our idea of Blackness is ours to mold and honor in all that we do. It informs, guides, and revitalizes our most innate passions as we observe and absorb the cascading effect of our unparalleled imprint around the globe. We invite our listeners to reflect on Season 2 as each of our guests shares the significance of their Blackness and how it has influenced how they choose to show up in the world. You will hear from Megan Matthews, Dr. Stefan Blanford, Dr. Crystal Hall, Dr. Elizabeth Waco, David Heppard, Ricky Hall, Larry Marshall, Alicia Teeter, Dr. Andre Dick, LaVoice Azell, Kyle Williams, and Kamal Carter. We look forward to continuing to share stories that uplift our community and demonstrate that by foregrounding our successes, we can empower others to relentlessly pursue their aspirations. You can stay up to date with the latest updates about the project by following us on Instagram at Identity Unboxed and also submit nominations for future guests. In the words of Toni Morrison, definitions belong to the definers, not the defined. For now, we ask our guests to reflect on the question, what does Blackness mean to you?
So there's two parts. Blackness is how we're identified, right? So there's how you identify and how you're treated. We're identified by the color of our skin. So at the simplest answer, that's Blackness for me. In America, we're identified and we're grouped together no matter what, right? No matter how we identify ourselves. But man, we are so cool. Oh my gosh. That's the only way I can say is we're so cool. I just think of the ingenuity, the innovation, the swag, everything we touch, right? We got music that is then people can gravitate towards and then want to emulate, imitate, and spin off of, right? We think hip hop and how that's global, right? So, Black people, we make a way out of no way. We are resilient. Since we've come to America, we've had to be, right? I know like the tribal government as well, right? Tribal folks, Native folks, they're resilient. It had to be, right? So have we. And I really love it because when you have grown up in the culture, right? So I wouldn't say that people who grew up out of the culture are not Black. Like, I don't draw the lines like that. I think because we're all treated as Black, it don't matter what we want to say inside. And some stuff we just keep inside, like we just can't say out in public anyway in our community. So I wouldn't say that's outside anyway. But what I would say is that when we get together with people who are raised in our culture, we can just have the best time, right? And it's just like a look. I'll look at you, nod like that, and we're just looking, and that recognition. And that's those past 2 generations, right? I just started doing it. Nobody told me to do that. I just do it, right? So, and then laughing and the jokes, the clowning, the dancing, the food. Oh my goodness, the food. I just think we're really cool. That's the only thing I can say.
Reflecting on my experience being at the African American Museum in DC um, earlier last week, on the fourth floor of that building is a celebration of all the cultural contributions that Black people have made to society in the United States and around the world. And if you haven't seen it, you should see it because it is, you can't come away from that museum without knowing the incredible journey that we have had from the basement of the building all the way to the fourth floor. And you see leaders, you see sports stars, you see how we've affected the culture from music to dance to art to food. And it is a celebration of Black joy that is bigger and more profound than anything that I've ever seen. And it speaks to the incredible role that we play in American society. And it's very inspiring. You could have asked me that question before I just said what I said, because in my mind, um, it's that transition from where we were to where we are. There's a saying that's up on the wall that I took a picture of because it perfectly encapsulates what my experience with Blackness is, and it is making a way out of no way. And it talks about the fact that even though we didn't have well-funded schools, that someone built a little ramshackle school, and it was full of kids learning from a teacher who probably was getting contributions from the community in order to pay her bills because we knew that education was important. We knew that collective efforts were important. We knew that the struggle was important. We come from a history of people who were stuck in the bottom of those slave ships and still managed to create all this art and beauty and culture that leads the world, that people are appropriating all the time, right? Stealing our culture because it is something to behold. And in many cases, it comes from that experience, that unrecognized, unappreciated struggle that we've been through that allows us to create this beauty that to me, I leave from it every time. I've been in there probably 6 or 7 times now. I leave from it every time inspired by my Blackness and other people's Blackness and what it means and how it can manifest and how we need to continue to struggle.
I love this. I think when I hear that question, the first thing that I think about is resilience. I think that we are just so resilient, and I think about this like as I have 3 little kids. I have triplets. I have 7-year-old triplets, and we have really loved every year getting to celebrate Juneteenth with them, and every year just kind of reminding them about why we celebrate this. And I think, getting to be in the space of that joy and resilience is so powerful, and it really just reminds me of, on any given day and any given moment with what I'm facing, if I can remind myself of just like the resilience paired with the joy of this community. And I can think back to people in my own family, but just people in the community more broadly. That is it's so special, and it's such a special thing to be able to raise my kids to really think about, like, this is what it means to be Black, is that we have shown such resilience, and being able to show joy paired with that resilience is such a beautiful thing. And that's something that I hope that my kids will be proud of and continue to just have that be something that can anchor you in whatever, whatever work they choose to do. And it anchors me in my own work, is just really being proud of that resilience and the joy that we're able to show in that resilience.
It's actually a hard question.
It is.
Because you're born Black. It's not like you have experienced or are able to experience anything other than being Black. But I would say what I appreciate and love about being Black is the instant community. So I believe that we're all connected to one another, regardless of skin color. But the special thing about being Black is it's incredibly visible. You can see it a mile away. You can see it in a crowded room. And while other people may be connected, by religion, by alma mater, by, even family, it actually takes a conversation to realize that you're connected, right? But we don't have that problem. Like, we know 100% when you walk in the room, for a majority, there's some Black people who it's not visible. But a majority, that you have run into another Black person. And I love that connection. And I think that, when I think about that, it's that and the fact that we recognize each other. Like, I think that's super cool. And, certainly done it my whole life. Even when I'm walking through the hospital and, I see somebody else who's Black, like it's the nod. Like, it's really you see them and you have this instant solidarity with them that is immediate. It's always a bit of surprise when you find yourself in a room of every other person other than a Black person. When another Black person walks in, you always see them, you always make eye contact. It's an instinctive support and acknowledgement of somebody who's living in the same skin that you are. And I don't know, it's pretty special. It's like you have somebody in your corner in every room. And I don't know, I don't think that others get to have that camaraderie, like that immediate experience, shared experience. And so that's pretty special. It's pretty special in a world where I think human connection is becoming more and more difficult.
I think, we navigate through a society that tells us what it means, right? And that ain't what it means. The stereotypes, the trauma responses that it attributes to our community. But I think that, you know what? I think it like this. I think when you get too much sun, I think you'll burn. I think melanin is that's like God's suntan lotion, right? Right. And so you think about it through that perspective, right? There's this added, this God-given protection, right? This inherent brilliance, and that this substance that comes with so much culture and so much power, right? And man, I love I love our relational nature. I love that. I think I love that this connectiveness that we have. I'm fueled by when you realize how much we have invented, how much has really benefited. Folks try to make us believe that our contributions to this country came from the free labor that came from our ancestors and stuff like that, and not really realizing all the other bricks and stuff that we done built, that really came from our culture and our brilliance, our collective brilliance. And I think Black is beautiful and Black is brilliant. That's what I believe. And I appreciate the innovation, ingenuity, and the creativity that comes with having to navigate in our skin. I appreciate, that's what I appreciate, right? And so I think, even though I think I think race is a construct, right? A social construct that was created to separate some folks from resources. I think the way we stepped into our Blackness and being able to use that same level of ingenuity and creativity to heal and to thrive is what it means to be Black. And so I think that's what it means to be Black for me. That's what Black means for me. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's complicated because it is a construct that was constructed for a purpose. But I think, yeah, Black is our culture. Black is, and it's beautiful. So I think that's what I would say.
Important question, and I want to go back and see how everybody answered them. Your previous folks that you've spoken with. But for me, Blackness means excellence and resilience. We are the descendants of those who survived the Middle Passage, then survived enslavement in this country, then to fight for our freedom and humanity. And we continue to take on that fight. I think about all that we created. We have created beautiful and remarkable cultures that many emulate. And it's always, I don't know if you ever think about that, how like to have large groups of people really, the racism that exists towards Black people and anti-Black racism in particular, but yet we're so emulated and copied. It's just it's like this is almost like this disconnect. In some ways, you all, you kind of want to take from our culture and things like that, but and then want to treat us with disrespect and often not see our humanity. But we have created, like you said, these beautiful cultures that have forever changed the country and also the world. And then even beyond just the emulation, I think about all the things that folks have done when given opportunities, that almost always when we're given opportunities, we excel. And that's why the excellence piece that includes in the classroom, that includes athletics, entertainment, academic leadership, and dare I even say, in the White House. And I know that many probably yearn for the years of Barack Obama. And so, again, that's what I think of when you all this question. I think about excellence and resilience.
It used to be that you just wanted to be You want to be popular. You want to be people. You wanted people to notice you. Now, to me, it speaks leadership. Like, as I get older, I want to be remembered as my name. My name is everything, and that's why I look at it. Blackness. I'm Larry Marshall Jr. and I want that to mean everything. I want it to mean the world. I want it to be known to where if you Google my name, you see my son, my family, and Blackness is who I am. It's me, and I want people to know that you can be whatever you want. I started out in this business dishwashing, and now I'm a sales manager. 14 years in hotels, but where I come from, where I've been, is a whole nother story. But I'm still standing, and Blackness is strong. The color itself speaks. It's dark, but it's solid, and that's what I look at. As we look at our background, and you look at our phones, Blackness is everywhere. Blackness, it's the color black, and it's just a solid color. Because you don't know what to expect out of that color. But it's solid and strong, and it goes everywhere. So to me, it's just, Blackness to me, it's just I look at it as strong, and standing, as my kids said, stand in your 10. That's my new one, stand in your 10.
Blackness is like a gift and an opportunity to shed light on how beautiful Blackness is. And I think for me, these are kind of silly things, but I love that I can change my hair up however I want, whenever I want. I'm just like 3 weeks ago, I was like, I want blonde faux dreadlocks, and I'm going to do that. And 2 weeks from now, it's going to be different. And I've been doing this since like 1994 with my hair, and I don't care. And I love it. And I love that Blackness for me means that, they're this artist Shabuzi. I'm gonna like age myself a little bit here. I had no idea who he was until recently, and then I looked it up, and his parents are Nigerian, and his real name is also the middle name I gave to one of my twin sons. And so to be able to be in the car and hear that song, and me look back at my child and say, this is, the artist, he goes by Shabuzi, but did you know that his parents are Nigerian? Did you know that you two have the same name, your same Nigerian given name, and how special that is to have that experience and to have that relationship? And I think Blackness is also, for me, right, like giving my kids chin chin, right, a delicious Nigerian snack. I think Blackness is also, every time we see Blackness in the greatness that we are, to celebrate that with my kids and my family. And I think even just like the Olympics are on right now, and to see the diversity on the screen, and to have my kids, I can see them gravitating towards the Black excellence that they see on the screen. And I just think it's just I'm just so proud. I'm so proud of it. And I think that Blackness is also, I'm very proud of my education. I'm very proud of my academic achievements. I'm very proud of taking my social work practice. I'm 3 weeks away from finishing my master's in business. And that is also a part of my Blackness, that part of my leadership and wanting to grow and excel. And like all of those things I attribute to the melanin that I am so thankful I was born with. And I want other Black women and Black people and young people and my kids to see that. And it's not just in the clothes I wear, the way I talk, the music I listen to. It's not just those things. It's that and beyond that I want to take the opportunity to flip the script a little and say, you're so Black because you're so whoever you are. And it's excellent and amazing and beautiful and wonderful. And I'm honored and proud to be who I am. And to be with the two of you, right? Seeing your faces first thing in the morning on a Monday, I'll take it.
It takes back. So growing up in Jamaica, this concept of Black as an identity, everyone, well, not everyone, majority of the people around me were Black. So it wasn't my teachers, my my doctors, everyone. So to me, that wasn't an issue, right? I truly didn't understand what racism meant until I came here. And it took me a while to understand that, because I remember when I went to college, you know, I just was studying because, as I said before, I'm the safety net. I got to accomplish this. And I would hear my fellow people of color say, "Oh no, the man this, the man that." That concept was just not there, because my whole life until I was 16 or 17, I was growing up in Jamaica. It's like, yeah, you can do this. Look around you. This is this is what it is. And it took me a while to finally understand, and I guess I had to garner that experience to now truly understand what it meant. And we've talked about it quite a lot throughout this conversations that we've had. And so again, in some ways, I think because I came into that system at a later stage, it did not impact me as much as being born into that system. And I saw how it, impacted others around me, people of color around me who have been into that system. And it's helped me to think about things a little bit differently. And how do I help others who are, currently in the system to say, how do you sort of navigate that path? And it's interesting, back to the last question about Blackness. I think that's a broad term that to me, that's an individual thing. It's interesting, like people just apply it universally with a broad stroke. So oftentimes people would say, when I went to do anything, they say, "You're African American." I'm not African American. I was born in Jamaica. I'm a naturalized citizen of the country, but I'm not African American. So like, to me, that Blackness for me is, I eat a lot of curry chicken and jerk chicken and oxtail. That's not, just because I'm Black, it's not the same experience that I had with Tiana or Brad, right? Yeah, we do have some shared experiences, but in terms of that sort of cultural piece, it's different, right? I play dominoes differently than I learned to play dominoes here, and so, for me, it's an individual thing, and I think it's good to try to preserve that, but also share that, because we can learn from each other, and and together be sort of a stronger force, right? There was a lot of these kind of weird competitions. You're Jamaican, you're Caribbean, you're African American, and all these kind of weird dynamics in between. And like, wait a minute, like, listen, we're all in this together, right? We have shared, different backgrounds, but we have a shared experience that, coming together, helping each other. Like you said, it's the tide that raises all the boats, and we have to come together. And, so for me, it's, I think I was in college when someone said to me, like, "You're not Black enough." I never understood that. I don't know why you would say that to any person of color. You're not Black enough. But as I reflected through the years, what they meant is that my sort of cultural upbringing was different than another person of color's upbringing. And so while there are things that they engaged in that I didn't, then they saw me as, not Black enough. But I'm telling you, when you leave the walls of the institutions or wherever no one really cares. All they see is, a person of color. And I hope we continue to move beyond that, because there's so much richness and experience that can be shared and sort of help each other be successful, than to get into this, you're not Black enough, you're not this, you're not that. That's kind of wasted energy, and you just need to put sort of the positive things in place and focus on those things and try to evolve and get to a better place.
Resilient, intelligent, hardworking. We're beautiful. We're strong. We're powerful. We're uniquely and wonderfully made. That's what Blackness is for me.
So it's interesting, especially when it comes out to when people like when you question like is Kamala Harris black, right? I think one of the things that's interesting in this conversation right now is that you're right that it's not monolithic, but it is a shared experience, right? In the sense that a lot of people say, well, are people of Caribbean descent black, and are they, it's ADOS or all these different levels of blackness. Am I a true American descendant of slavery, or am I a Caribbean implant, or like all this? And it's just this division that not everybody, but some people in the black community want to separate us one way. Jamaicans are not the same as, all this kind of stuff. I always look at it with the eye test. When they showed up at the bathroom and the sign said colored only and white only, where'd you have to go? So I don't care if you're Jamaican, I don't care if you're Haitian, I don't care if you're from Kentucky and black, I don't care if you're from Harlem and black. When you showed up with your face the way it looked, you had to turn left and go to the colored only. Nobody wanted to hear that your great grandmother was from Jamaica versus, nobody, that didn't matter. And so I think as we start to look at blackness, blackness has been defined by how it's treated, how it's been separated, how it's been different, right? So just like we understand the establishment of what whiteness was, which brought together all the white immigrants together that actually didn't get along at first, but then the concept of whiteness brought all them together from Italy, Greece, Poland, whatever, they were just white people. Blackness to me is the same thing in terms of when I look at this person or when I look at this culture, does it represent something that falls different from the standard of white supremacy with a deep melanated complexion? Right. And so, again, whether that's continental Africa, whether that's South American, whether that's Harlem, New York, or Chicago. Right. So embedded in all that, though, is our response to having to walk around with that stamp. Right. Because, again, I don't know, Brad, exactly your background or Tiana, but I know that people are going to look at you the same way they look at me and my children. And so we share that same sense of blackness that whether I carry it from, like you said, Tiana, growing up in a white household where it wasn't poured into you like it is in my house or my kids. But when you walk through the door, it doesn't matter. The monolith is the world sees you as a black person or as a non-white person. So to me, it's about, for me, blackness is about us being able to use all of those experiences to empower and to feel pride and all that good stuff. But to understand all of our other experiences, because the more we understand the totality of blackness as black people, then that adds to us. It doesn't separate or divides us. Like the Haitian struggle is my struggle, right? Because I understand that. The indigenous struggle is my struggle, right? Because and here's the thing, white people need to do the same thing. They need to be able to embrace that. So for me, this, as I walked, I can't imagine, I've never lived a day without my knowledge of self. I've never lived it. I can't remember a day. I'm a child of hip hop. I was 8 years old. I literally studied KRS-One's lyrics when I was in the element. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I did. So this understanding of what blackness meant is about our history. It's about the things we have achieved through resilience. And I think it's just something that's the beauty. I'll end with this because I will say this. There's a unique experience of blackness unlike anywhere in the world, and that's the American black person. We're the only, from my study of history, we're the only nation, and I'm going to say that as a nation of people in this country, that have created themselves from scratch. And that doesn't discount our connections, but our experience as black people in America is totally different than any other experience of any other black people in the world, but any other people. We were separated and we had to recreate ourselves. And in 250 years, not only have we created our culture, it is the predominant culture of the world. Hip hop is the most predominant culture phenomenon in the history of the world. It's the greatest economic and cultural export in American history. Is around, you can pull up stuff around the world and you see kids that are wearing Ice Cube t-shirts in South America. Because its blackness has traveled, and because we are diaspora, that's why it connected on every continent. That's why Black Lives Matter was said on every continent, because they understood that it is a connection, there is a collection, and there is a diaspora. So for me, Blackness is, if you just look at it scientifically, it's the combination of everything, of all the colors. Whiteness is the void of all color. So every single thing that makes up America, makes up the world, makes up the globe, contributes to this culture of Blackness that we have. And some people embrace it and some people fight against it. For those that embrace it, it gives us a whole nother level to step on. And for those that hate it and fight it, it gives them an enemy globally to demonize and point out to. So for me, if I had to kind of bring this on to it, it is a unifying experience. It is a unifying understanding of who we are, what we've been through collectively, and where we need to go moving forward. So,
and well, Kyle said a lot. Just our Blackness is beautiful. That's it. I mean, yeah. I mean, I can go on and on, but Kyle did a great job. I'm Black and I'm proud. I love Blackness. I love Black people, or Black joy. I love Black resilience. And you're right. We're not a monolith. But it's just beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful.
We are so grateful for your support, and thank you for listening to Identity Unboxed.
Authenticity is your guide to cast an impact on the world that you will be proud of. Signing off with pride, Tiana
and Brad.
Thank you so much.